Welcome everybody. My name's Ben Barden. I'm the CEO of Skillset, and I just wanted to kick proceedings off, if I may, by welcoming everybody for the first meeting of this type that we've held in the building. It's in association with the Bathurst Business Chamber, and many people may not know that the Bathurst Business Chamber is actually a member organisation of Central West Group Apprentices, which owns Skillset, and has been a member organisation since its inception. So I think it's really fitting that one of the first major public events that we've held in this building is co-sponsored by the Business Chamber.
This will be a night in which too much talk about economics is barely enough. You'll be dying to get more of it, I'm sure. So I actually instigated this forum for Bathurst. It struck me that there wasn't really a debate or a forum of any sort that was really in existence, and the bits of debate that did occur were fairly much just sort of slinging headlines at each other. So I thought there really must be an opportunity in Bathurst to drill down a little bit further and have a more genuine economic discussion. And that's what I hope to have come through from tonight's event. It amused me slightly during the week when I got a suggestion that the federal budget couldn't be supported because in this region, because the cuts to foreign aid were going to hit hard. And that made me think, hang on a second. I know we're often thought of as a poor cousin to the city, but putting us into the foreign country in the third world basket is probably going a little bit too far. So we've got four, I would consider fairly high-profile or high-powered speakers this evening. We've got Senator Matt Thistlethwaite, the Duty Senator for Calare. We've got Tom Murphy, the CEO of the Western Research Institute. Mr Adrian Finch, the General Manager, Business Strategy and Alliances with Reliance Credit Union. And David Cook, who's the Regional Principal for the Central West for WHK. Parts of that, and that's basically the budget result. So it starts in 2000 and goes forward to 2015, and 2011-12 is here and here. So looking at a slight surplus, followed by a couple of deficits, increasing with mainly on the back of major infrastructure spending.
The income for the government since 2008 has been about $150 billion in revenue, and that's principally because of a downturn in company tax receipts. So the Australian government, when that occurred, acted quite quickly and stimulated the economy, and we invested heavily in education and infrastructure, and thankfully it worked. The Australian economy responded well. We kept unemployment reasonably low, particularly compared to the US and Europe. In fact, we've created 750,000 jobs since we came to office in 2010. And because of that stimulus package, the Australian economy continued to chug along quite well. And over the last period of the year, it's been growing at about 3%. And the forward projections are for that 3% growth to continue over the next 3 years. So it's in that context, with the economy rebounding, private investment beginning to respond positively again, economic growth forecast to grow in the 3% region, that the government has made the decision to return the budget to surplus. And the projected surplus over this coming financial year will be $1.5 billion, growing to $7.5 billion in 2015-16. Is that you can fully depreciate the value of a machine in the first year through that write-off. Same for vehicles up to the value of $5,000. And through this budget, we're implementing a new loss carryback.
So as I said, what do we want the budget to do? And I've assessed it in three ways. The first thing, since we are in quite a good position as it is, we should assess it first, to what extent does it build confidence, both in the community and business? Secondly, does it fix any problems? And thirdly, does it build the community or does it build the economy? So what's the vision in it? Does it do any nation building? So overall, my overall assessment is 18 out of 30, so I'm giving the budget 60%. That's my assessment.
So for those who fund their books by borrowing offshore, such as Australia's big four banks, interest rates offshore are comparatively higher, and consequently costs of borrowing are higher. And let me say right away, I'm not attacking or defending the banks.
The impact in terms of small and medium-sized businesses is completely ignorant, I'd have to say. There's been very little approach or engagement that we've had with any of our client base around what the impact of the carbon tax is going to have on small business in terms of their net profit. And I see that as a particularly dangerous place to be in terms of as we lead into next financial year.
And I just, I'm hoping to see some more work if you're talking about all the things that that could be happening, that the government could be doing. It just doesn't seem to be enough effort. And when you looked at what happened with the small business green incentives program, the green cards program and many of these other things, just it seems as though just as soon as the community starts to understand some of these things or look forward to them, they go. And I just would counsel or would encourage the government to think about some long-term strategic investment in getting people into these renewable programs that sticks. Because what the feeling that we get, I don't know if I'm sort of speaking for anybody else in the room, but the feeling that we get is that there's just change all the time. And many of us in key organisations, people organisations, are trying to support people in making decisions and in this environment of constant change. And so, sort of, is there any reason why there's this constant sort of turnover of support for getting people to help with those structural changes?
Yeah, look, it has been a chop and change process, but it's all been about a path to a market-based mechanism, really, and getting us there. And we've had one false start. We thought we might get there under Howard. It didn't happen. There was the CPRS under Rudd. Couldn't get it through the Senate. But now we've finally got to a point where the Parliament's agreed on a market-based mechanism. And
In New South Wales, there was an energy efficiency for small business program that was extremely successful. It's been running for for quite a few years under both governments. And yesterday, I think it was, they announced that they're going to think about what they're going to do for another 6 months. So it's been extended from June to December this year, and then we'll find out at the end of the year whether or not it's going to actually be extended beyond that. But that scheme's been going for quite a few years and is currently going forward into the future in the short term. So for small businesses, that's quite a good one. Offers a $5,000 rebate, basically.
But could I ask whether or not the federal government has an articulate plan for Australia's economy beyond mining, and how might that fit in with the views that you've talked about for cleaner and renewable energies, particularly in light of the 60 coal mines that you mentioned is on the drawing board? Where do you see that Australia can shore itself up economically beyond mining, or is there just so much wealth out there that it really is a question for other generations, other governments to come?
look, the length of the mining boom really, I suppose, is tied a lot to the growth of Asia, particularly China. That's where most of our iron ore, gas and coal exports are going at the moment. Now, when you talk to a lot of these miners, they talk about 50 to 60 year lifespans on a lot of their resources projects at the moment, particularly if it's a project that's in its infancy. So as long as the market is still there, I suppose you're looking at least half a century of potential growth in that sector. Beyond that, I think that's really why we're implementing the carbon pricing legislation. The competitive advantage for our economy will come in the future by positioning ourselves, particularly in Asia, as an economy that is investing in renewables technology, that does have a capacity to develop an electric car industry into the future, that does have a capacity to generate electricity from wind and solar and other renewables into the future, from methane and those sort of things. And what we're finding is, there was a question earlier about all the job losses that are occurring in manufacturing. There's no doubt that there is change going on in the economy. Of course, it does have a big impact on families and communities when there are particular job losses in particular sectors of the economy, but you need to look at it in the global context. And the fact that while there have been job losses in certain pockets of manufacturing, there have been big increases in other areas of manufacturing in the economy, in areas like medical research, the pharmaceutical industry, the services industry, professional industries, particularly positioning our economy as a financial hub in Asia. There's a lot of growth going on in those areas. So we're in a process of transition at the moment, and it's about managing that transition. That's what the budget is aimed at. That's what the Clean Energy Future Package is aimed at. It's about, building the railway to the future, really, and how we get there.
In light of a very healthy discussion and very good presentations, I'd like to thank all of you for attending, particularly those people who've come all the way from Mudgee and anywhere else outside of Bathurst. I'd like to thank all our speakers, our local ones, who I presume have come from not too far away. And I understand Matt drove up this afternoon, is about to get in the car and go back to Sydney, so I appreciate your commitment to that, Matt. And thank you all. So there are on those